All the way back in the Blackout beta, we saw a bunch of things coming to the full game that really piqued the interest of some players. A lot of what we saw was relatively close to the full build of Blackout, with say the introduction of its few new weapons, a few different loot spawn rates, and other things on the smaller end. But one thing that did persist that did not make it into the full game until as of recently was the Annihilator in Blackout. Now, this was first discovered in the beta, but it wasn't playable. In the beta, we had some special items like the War Machine and the ray guns that were playable, the War Machine being available out of the supply crates that would drop randomly throughout the match, and the ray gun was available by picking it up off of zombies or out of the mystery box at the zombie specified locations like gym, like asylum, like graveyard, and other places considered. But the Annihilator lay dormant in random spawns that would mostly pop up in firing range. People were first alerted to this by the 54 Immortals decal on the box in firing range, and plus if you use the looter perk, you'd end up actually seeing the outline of the Annihilator pistol in that box. But again, there was no way to actually get into it. That is, until Tuesday, because Tuesday's update unlocked the rest of the multiplayer specialists in Blackout, save for the zombies and Blackout special characters. Those are still not available. Those including Reznov, Mason, Woods, Menendez, and Dempsey, Nikolai, Richtoff, and Takiao, Bruno, Diego, Scarlet, and Shaw. Those still aren't usable. Their quests may be unlocked at a later point though, because right now, who knows, it's kind of a weird progression on this system. As we initially saw at launch, only Ajax was unlockable. Then after you got Ajax, we saw that Crash, Torque, and Recon were available, so seemingly a progression-based system, but after those four were unlocked, there were no more unlocked until yesterday. So perhaps another update in the future unlocks those quests for many more, but I digress. Yesterday, Serifs quest line was introduced, to which we can now actually not only find the Annihilator again, but also use it, get kills with it, and ultimately grab a few merits for unlocking the Serif playable character. So how you go about unlocking the weapon itself and being able to get it in the game is, well, you'll need to make your way down to firing range. Firstly, my apologies if my callouts differ from the ones that you may use, but after you clear out firing range, or if you get lucky, like in the case of the B-roll footage you're seeing right now, if you land alone like somehow Ink Slasher and myself ended up doing on our very first game on, you wanna make your way down to the green tarped building at what I wanna say is the back of firing range, but realistically, it's on the westernmost side of the compound. Here you'll find the shelter barrack overlooking a few targets into the hillside. Now, there are a few things and a few conditions that need to be right in order to unlock the Annihilator. Assuming all things in these conditions are good, you'll see two things. You should see 6 targets out in the range, 4 standard targets, and 2 white enemy targets in front of them. Then also you should see the 54 Immortals black box with the Annihilator on the right side table. If either of those conditions are not correct, if either of those things aren't spawned in, unfortunately, you're not gonna be able to get at that game. I remember hearing whispers about a secondary spawn spot for the Annihilator, but for the life of me, I cannot remember where that location is to check, and I can't find any sort of reference no matter how deep I search. So perhaps I'm wrong, but for the sake of this guide, its only known spawn currently to me is at firing range. But let's say both of those criteria are met. You have the 6 targets and you have the 54 Immortals black box. What you'll then need is a pistol, and it can be any of which, it doesn't matter which. In Blackout, you have the option of the Moser revolver, the Strife semi-auto, and the RK7 Garrison burst pistol. You can use any of those. It works with all 3 pistol types within Blackout. When you have a pistol equipped, all you have to do is shoot those 6 targets, and once you do, you should be able to hear and see that the box will open up right in front of you. And once it does that, all you have to do is hold your interact button of square, X, and I believe on PC, if you have it bound by default, it's probably F to pick up. And then you'll have the Annihilator pistol. Now this will take up a weapon slot and it only has 6 shots, so in a way, it can be a hindrance to your gameplay, but it can also be so worth it. And if you want to keep that quest line going and end up unlocking Serif, well, you're gonna have to do this. But now that you have the weapon, what about it? What makes it special? How is it something that can help your gameplay? Well, the interesting part about the Annihilator is that it's a one-shot kill weapon. Now, I'm gonna put a little asterisk on that statement because it's a one-shot kill to the body with no armor. But with armor, it is a 2-shot because it will break armor in 1 shot. And from preliminary testing, it seems like any type of armor, it will destroy that in 1 shot. Either level 1 or level 3, it'll go by and just destroy it. Now, talking about the strength of the weapon, I know for a fact, because it is that 1 shot, you'll get some solid reactions when you kill somebody in one shot. I know that I already got a few just from the little bit of gameplay that I had with it and the few kills that I ended up getting with it when I used it last night. Additionally, it seems like it does significant damage against vehicles as well, but I wouldn't waste my 6 shots on a vehicle, especially if you're looking to finish that quest line. And as for that quest line, well, the quest to unlock Serif as a playable specialist character, you have to end up getting 1 kill with the Annihilator and then get top 5 and also finish with the Annihilator pistol in your inventory. Now, as for the 1 kill with the Annihilator, I didn't test out just yet if you finish somebody in squads, if that cleanup counts as a kill or not, or if it's something you have to actually down them in squads and then have them die. If that's what counts as the kill, it has to be 100% your kill. I'll have to try and grab this on PC because the update just dropped for PC today, to which now I'll be able to grab it again, another fresh account, but because I ended up getting it first try with a kill on my own accord and one that was 100% my kill, I don't have the validation just yet on to check if you can clean up and get that. But then also the top 5 in game with the Annihilator pistol in your inventory, you can't drop it the entire game, even if you're out of ammo. Again, there's only 6 shots that you have available, so it might be very tempting to drop that and then end up getting a different weapon here for it. But once you get that kill, once you end up using that ammo, just whatever you do, don't drop it. Can be very tempting and can be a hindrance at sometimes. If you're playing duos or something, it can also come in handy because your teammate might be able to secure some cleanup kills at range. Additionally, the top 5 aspect seems to apply to team rank as well. So theoretically, let's say you're in duos. If you are top 10 in those final 10 alive, that should technically count as your completion, assuming that it's a 2v2v2v2v2. Now, that might not every time work out as such. It might be something where it's a 2v1v1v1v2 or something similar like that in those top 8 or in that top 10, to which that might alter how it ends up perceiving if you've completed it or not, but just be conscious of that. Obviously, you always want to go for the win, but if you're playing it safe just to get in there, make sure you open up your inventory and check that quest to see if it ends up checking that off. Now, as for other thoughts on the weapon itself and as for the quest line, well, firstly, surprisingly, it's kind of hard to obtain this sometimes. Only 1 spawns on the map at a time, that being the one at firing range, so if you don't get it, you don't get it. And it's also usually very populated in firing range. Somehow Corey or Inkslasher and I, again, got it our first game with absolutely 0 resistance. Literally like the stars aligned and we're like, here's the B-roll footage, the COD gods are blessing you. I have no idea how we got a completely empty firing range, but then after that, it kind of became a chore to get it. Every single match afterwards, there was at least 3, 4, 5 teams dropping firing range, as it was an incredibly hot drop and one person would go down and get thirsted. You name the situation, it probably happened. So it can be very tough sometimes to get this, and you'll want to usually be one of the first ones at firing range to try and get this, because we did have a few situations where people actually did get it at first, then we killed them with it and picked it up off their body, but that comes with the territory. Additionally, another thing that adds into this being a little harder to get is that there's sometimes quite a few glitches that happen. Firstly, it may not spawn. It doesn't spawn every game, which we found, which was kind of annoying, that you get there, you kill everybody in firing range, and then you're like, well, did all that work for nothing? Firing range doesn't have the box, and so therefore you're forced to boot up another game, either play it out or leave that one, whatever it is, but you can't get it in that specific game. And also, we came across a few instances where you'd shoot the targets and the box just wouldn't open. So sometimes it seems like that bugs out. We got the audio cues that it was opening up. It made the audio like the box popped open, but nothing happened. So that might be bugged to the point where that's fixed out in a later update, but you also gotta bear that in mind, that it might not happen even if it's there. And as for the weapon itself, I love that it's a one-shot weapon, but I totally understand where it's a complete huge balancing act of ammunition versus the power, because it is a one-shot without body armor. With armor, it's a 2-shot, assuming you hit both of them. So therefore, being that it is so deadly, you only get 6 shots, but 6 shots is not a lot at all. I'd like maybe 1 extra magazine for reserves with that, but maybe that becomes too overpowered at that point. But overall, outside of that, is it something that I would go for every game? Is it something that's incredibly practical? Well, like the ray gun that you can see in the zombies locations, it's cool, but it's really not all that practical at times. You have to be very accurate with it. It seems a lot more accurate and faster of firing for bullet distance than that of the ray gun, but just like the ray gun, it's kind of more so a novelty. I don't know if I'd go after it every game, but of course, if you want that quest line, it's definitely worth it and can be done relatively simply if you end up getting lucky enough to grab it. But outside of that, I don't know if I'd end up going into every Blackout game thinking, man, I need to get the Annihilator. That's my new main meta weapon. I don't think that I'm ever gonna be like that. But ultimately, the choice choice is yours, and I wanted to make this video to let you guys know exactly how to get that Annihilator, that one-shot pistol within Blackout if you so choose to want to do so. Now, of course, you can unlock the quest line for this only once, but then you have an awesome new skin out of it that you can customize and all things considered within Blackout. You can end up getting that one-shot pistol, which does help you win some gunfights that maybe you wouldn't beforehand against a level 3 armor perhaps, but what you do with it, that's up to you. But hopefully you enjoyed this video and hopefully this helped you out and gave you the know-how on how to get the Annihilator pistol. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the Annihilator from what you've seen so far here in this? Are you guys overwhelmed, underwhelmed, in love with it, absolutely hate it, think it's amazing, think it's pointless? Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel as well, make sure that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, multiplayer, Blackout, zombies. If you guys are interested, we got you covered here with the best of guides, news, information, tips, tricks, best class setups, updates, information, whatever it may be, we got you covered here on the channel. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And also, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube, practically live on both those. So if you guys want to check those out, links are in the description below. But all that's said and out of the way, thank you guys all so much for watching. Go check this out, go try it out for yourselves, and see if you get that W with the one-shot Annihilator pistol. Until the next one though, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later, take care, and peace.